It's the friggin' soccer show, bub.
Hey, Hearts fans, welcome to the Friggin' Soccer Show. We had a snowstorm in Maine today, so we're coming at you from home to review the Hearts' recent 0-0 draw against AV Alta on the road, and also review the performances against New York Cosmos and Vermont Green, even though we recorded some reactions on location for both of those. But I'm joined by Sean, Chaz, and Rob. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me this evening. Let's talk a little bit about the draw against AV Alta. Just let's go over a little bit about overall thoughts and then get into the specifics of things. But it seemed like we're still finding our feet. We've heard rumors that Bobby Murphy talked about maybe us being 6 weeks out from where we want to be. I think that goes, a little bit of that feeds into this game based on the performances that we saw against the Cosmos and then against Vermont, where we were a little concerned how we were a little bit disjointed, especially in Vermont. But I think that carried over to the game. Obviously, the red card against Mikey really changes the game. And everything considered, a point on the road all the way out west. We'll talk about travel and how many games we played quickly. But a point on the road against AV Alta is not the worst thing in the world. That's 4 from 6 in our opening 2 games, a better start than last year. And I think, we take it. And guys like us get to talk about it. So we'll start with Sean. Anything you think on the big picture we need to look at, just overall, a point on the road?
Yeah, big picture, I think anything that, I'm going to certainly take out of that is, we're putting more of our squad on the field in a conservative formation, a 5-4-1, and really allowing them to defend as a team and gel as a team, very defensive-like on the road, which we saw last year. This is not the first time that we've seen this. We went out with Spokane. We were very defensive formation. I believe it was, again, a 5-4-1, and we got a point. And you see the same thing happening this year with the Hearts and head coach Bobby Murphy choosing to do a 5-4-1. But the one thing that we see a little bit different than last year is we see a lot more of some 26 odd players that we have on our squad out there and participating and really getting some nice play. I point at Menza Jr., double blocks, fist pumping in the air. That's good team building stuff right there.
Chaz, you go next.
Yeah, I think actually, I want to say might be a 5-3-2. I guess I don't really know how Ollie and Wada, because
it's confusing, isn't it?
Yeah, because I see they're like Ollie seems to be way out, like he seems to be way out on the wing, and then Wada seems to be kind of floating like up top, and then he'll be like almost in a defensive position. So I'm like, he just seems. I don't know.
It depends on where the ball is. If the ball's on one side or the other, Ollie's going to move back into the formation. It'll be more of a 5-4-1. If it comes over, Ollie's going to move up to start putting pressure on the ball. So
yeah. I don't know. I think we're playing a little slower. Like it feels like we're playing almost like in mud. Which I don't hate. I know we're trying to feel things out. It's just weird that like we don't really have it almost doesn't seem like we have a true striker on the field. Like I said, outside of Emilio, we haven't had, Titus on, and even Emilio hasn't had a run. Kunga hasn't really had a full run. It seems like we're kind of, I love Wada. I think Wada is a great center forward, but I just don't know if he's a true striker. But overall, will say though, the defensive side does look overall better. I will admit, 3 games in, we're not having the ball we're not having the issue we had last year where the ball was just like literally crossing through in front of Hunter, in front of goal, Cash, I guess in this case, and no one's clearing it. We are clearing the ball. Our center back, we are doing a lot more dirty work, and we're getting a lot of blocks. So defensively, I think we look great. It's just, I don't know if we've really figured out how to get the ball now from defense to offense yet. But, I can't complain. Like you said, we are already 4 points up. 3 weeks in, we're 3rd in the league right now. Hard to really complain.
Rob?
Yeah, I think a lot's been said. I think what I just want to echo is some comments about our shape. I said last night, I feel like it was kind of like a tale of two hearts between the left side of the field, which seems to kind of understand the game plan and what's going on the right side of the field, where I think we're still kind of trying to figure out how to play Bobby Ball this year. So I think that kind of conversation needs to be had, get everyone on the same page, because we did see, in my opinion, a lot of action last night on the left, but the right just wasn't able to really execute the game plan at all. And I think that created some lopsided situations, which Alta was able to exploit. And I do just want to echo Chad's comments, because I do really think it's very important. Alta is a very fast team. They have been since last season. They really use speed to their advantage. And that's just not something the Hearts, the last 2-3 games, maybe the Cosmos too, but certainly at Vermont and last night, speed is just not something the guys are showing this year. And I think that really caused some struggles as Alta players were zipping around. Hearts guys kind of sat there and stuck to their guns and stuck to their game plan, which I'm not going to say it's a bad thing because we did get the draw, but it's very different than watching like Messer run up the wing. We haven't seen that sort of play a lot this season.
Yeah.
I really want to actually talk to that point, Rob, because, Chaz said it looked like we were playing in mud. What I would say is we looked very reactive to what's going on the field as opposed to proactive. I don't think I've taken comments that we've heard coming out of Bobby Murphy, and I haven't heard the interviews, so I've heard them through the grapevine, whatever that expression is. So who knows? You give kids a little cup in kindergarten, they say one thing, and 20 people down the line, it's a completely different thing by the end of it. So I don't know how accurate it is, but I'm hearing things like that. Maybe how Bobby wants these guys to play is kind of counterintuitive to how some of them have learned to play, even at this level. And I'm starting to believe that because it looks like we don't have a game plan. And I think that makes us look more reactive. It almost looks like we're playing players out of position, which I know isn't completely the case. So I think, the speed of play is often tied to speed of thought, knowing where the ball is going to go before you get it, right? Or 2 steps, 3 steps ahead of where the current play is. And I feel like we're not playing 1 step ahead, right? We're getting up, we're looking, we're reactive. And we had a lot of blocks in that game, but I feel like that, once again, I'm glad we had the blocks or else we'd be conceding, but it's reacting, blocking, chasing the ball, getting in front of the ball, making the last block. And I'm happy that our defense held up. I really do love the point on the road. I know it's very early in the season. I know we just traveled all the way, the short turnaround after Vermont, all the way out west. I know all these things, but it's just concerning to watch your team get pulled around so much and to look like we're on the back foot. We're the ones doing all the reacting while the other team, maybe you could see the game plan. I don't know how we're trying to play yet after 3 games. I really don't. Only Bobby will know that. And I feel like even though we started last year with draws, I had a better idea of how the Hearts were trying to play, even early on. Maybe that's unfair because expectations, all that. Yes, we have expectations now, more than last year. I mean, we all put Hearts at the top of the league. Was that fair? I don't know. But I'm not concerned because I think we'll get there. But it's hard to watch because I thought last year Hearts had the most entertaining brand in the league, in USL 1. I thought they were the most fun team to watch. I don't think we've been as fun to watch in our first opening 3 games. And maybe it's fair to say too, or worth noting, this last game against AV Alta is the first one I watched on broadcast because we attended the other 2 games. But anything to add, Sean? Counterpoints to me saying that we don't look like we have a style yet, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think it kind of what I touched upon off the jump is, I think Bobby understands that, he's trying to get everyone to get used to working with each other and how each other play. And when we went out to the West Coast last year, we had a very conservative formation. Same thing again this year. And I think it's a little bit for a different reason this year. Last year, we had a smaller roster, so we were playing some of the same people. And, it was probably more so to kind of protect the legs a little bit, asking a lot out of them for that particular week. They knew they were going to be sluggish. Masashi Wada all the way from Japan, and he played an hour for us at the last minute, that type of deal, right? This year, I think it's the same solution, but to a different, not necessarily a problem, but a hurdle that head coach Bobby Murphy finds himself in with this roster. Is if you put him in a 5-4-1 or a 5-3-2 or whatever you want to call it, you've got that row of 5 behind you. So as mistakes happen in the middle and to the front of the formation, you've got plenty of people behind you to help protect. It's like think of it as kind of like a safety net, right? And then they're kind of learning in a safe formation how to kind of work with each other. And you know, on the front end of things, we saw the Cosmos and the 4-2-3-1 and what kind of the offensive side of things were kind of looking like. And now, if you look at our match out there in AV Alta, probably not the formation we're going to choose to run for the rest of the year, but you can kind of see our defensive players and some of our new players. Again, I point to Mensa Jr., a rookie coming out of college, starting to get some confidence at a pro level.
Just to challenge that, Sean, 'cause I agree with a lot of what you said, but I do think running the back 5 that we ran last night, I don't know that is necessarily the best thing to do. Not because I don't think it's defensively sound. I do. But I think a challenge we're seeing, because we're now bringing a man back and putting him on the back line, that weakens our midfield, which also in turn weakens our front line. And I think what we're seeing, and I saw it in Vermont and I saw it again last night, is when we're trying to make an attack, we don't have enough pressure on the opposition team's defensive line. And, that I think is going to be a really big struggle we need to overcome, just because the way we the way we play up the wings, the way we cross into the box, there needs to be options there. There can't just be Wada standing there waiting to get the ball, or Wada bringing the ball up and looking over and no one's there. That happened time and again during the Vermont game. They would bring it up and that would be it, because there'd just be no one to give it to. There'd be no one open. And then, whoever had the ball would get double teamed or triple teamed and they'd lose possession. And we didn't see a lot of attacking runs last night. That was just kind of the nature of the game. But the couple that we did see were the exact kind of things that happened in Vermont, where we ran up the field and got dispossessed the minute we crossed in the box, because there was no passing option and there was no way to shoot.
It looks like we're easy to close down and cut off our passing lanes for whatever reason. I totally will reiterate that, Rob. I mean, what do you think, Chaz, as far as this idea of us being a little slower start to the season perhaps than we anticipated?
Yeah, I think I do want to say this. I feel like we've been very negative. I know that's also me.
We kind of are, aren't we?
We have. I don't think we should come over. I have had some people reach out to me. I know, like Spence, he's like, we're really not in that bad of a position. It's still very early in the season. I think yes. I think there's. My theory is that we're just kind of, again, this is the first time. I guess again, it's a lot of things are first for us. This is the first time we've went into the season with 26 men on the roster. We have 2 people on the performance-based things. I mean, by now. I think by May, we pretty much knew, this guy's probably going to go. I knew we had that Camacho. Gosh, we knew he was not going to play. I feel like there's going to be some roster changing. I feel like we have a lot of options. I just hope that there's an injury thing, or I just hope we see a lot of formation changes and a lot more rotation. If I just don't know if Bobby if he's just trying things out, or if he's like, hey, let's see how this works. Let's see how this works. I guess we need more, games to see, but I guess I don't know yet, because we know what our spine is. It's just who is going to be our striker? What is the formation we're going to go in? And then I think once we figure that piece out, then we can figure out why are we getting closed down? Because I think I just don't know if we figured out where everyone sits just yet. If you put if we all put rosters together, or depth charts together, whatever you want to call it, I think everyone would have a different answer on where everyone goes.
Based on those 3 games, I agree with you. What do you guys think about Breck? Because he was a shining light in our display in our opening game in New Jersey. I think he got us out of some pretty hairy situations, because even though we won that game 3-0, we all agreed that the scoreline kind of flattered us based on how many shots we were conceding from the top of our box. Do we know if Breck was injured? I understand. I just thought it was a rotational thing in Vermont, but I expected him to play against AV Alta, and he was not there.
He was not on the official injury list that was reported on the broadcast last night. I don't know about Vermont.
Why do we have to guess so much what's going on with our players? We really don't know. I mean, what do you guys think about not having Breck there?
I would prefer to have him play last night. I don't know if they needed to rotate him a little bit more, needed some more rest. We did hear from Bobby through the Blazing Musket that a lot of guys maybe were sick or weren't available during the preseason, and because of that, some of them just aren't at the fitness level they need to be for competitions yet. Maybe that's what's going on with Breck. I don't really want to speculate all that much, but I do think he's a presence that's helpful on the field on a team full of guys who are getting used to the USL, and Breck Evans knows the USL, knows how the game's played in this league, and not having him around, I think, does cause stress on the back line, and you can kind of see that anxiety sometimes in the way our guys play.
Yeah, I really like to see him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to add anything additional to Breck other than, I would have loved to see him out there as well. Certainly in a league game, right? Midweek, Vermont, not seeing him. All right, I can see. We're saving him for the West Coast, no big deal. But then not to see him again on the West Coast, not even in the squad.
That's what I mean.
And Faye was there. It's like, all right, what happened? Get a knock in training, a little under the weather. I don't know. We're reaching at straws.
Didn't Bobby say there was a lot of injuries going on? I mean, if he's not on the injured list, I don't know if that's worth anything because there's so little communication. Obviously, it feels like the club wants to keep that stuff on the down low, right? I mean, Tyler Huck came on with a friggin' cast, right?
Yeah.
So,
I just don't know. I don't know what they're getting. What are they getting injured from? That's the problem. Is I'm like, are we trading that card or?
I think Bobby's just smacking the shit out of him. I think that's why it's not publicized too. Bobby broke Huck's arm. He kicked Breck in the back and broke his spine, and we're gonna find out. I don't know, man. It's so weird.
We're getting so weird on that one. That commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because I mean that's what concerns me. It's like we think that they're hurt, so it's like, but it's like what's causing them to be or sick? I mean, I guess I could be. I guess we are. I do forget that we are taking guys. I did think about this. I was like, there's guys that have been in. Like what was Diego was in Maltese. He went from being in that's in like that's in what the Mediterranean or something like that. This guy went from the Mediterranean to 25 degrees in Maine, then down to the Caribbean, back to Maine, Vermont where it's even more cold, then to AV Alta. I'm like I'm hoping it's just like maybe some of these guys are really adjusting because they are coming from all over the world.
I think you're right.
I don't know. I'm like, maybe that's like my guess. Cause it is concerning that I would think Breck Evans for how much we've paid for him, how much his accolades and what we've seen so far, he is our best center back. Him and Kamala Green, I think are our best duo as of today's. So not having him there was concerning, but I guess we forget that we are still human too.
I'm trying not to be concerned just because we don't know anything. But we don't know anything and we can't speculate, like to your point, Rob. So I guess we'll move on. You guys want to talk a little bit about the Mikey Lopez yellow card because it was his first game back. He wasn't in New York and then he was suspended for the Vermont game. I don't know how that suspension, if he was actually suspended in New Jersey, but I know he was suspended for the Vermont game based on the red card against Rhode Island. Thank you. They carried over. But neither here nor there. He didn't get to play till this game. He came in pretty physical, and I picked up a yellow early on. I think we can say whatever we want to about the ref. It's very easy to talk about the refs at this level. But most importantly, I think he could have avoided the first yellow. I guess I'll give my opinion, and Rob, I'd love to hear yours. Work our way around the table. I think it was a little, you could have avoided that contact and just not gave the ref something to think about at all, especially, when you're the captain. I love Mikey, but I want to see these yellows get cleaned up because he's maybe has a reputation at this point. I don't know, but I think that the second yellow was definitely a yellow. You can't step on somebody like that, whether he meant to or not. I want to assume that he didn't mean to, and he was just pretty late. But it's my opinion that you're going to get sent off for that, especially if you're already on a yellow. Your opinion, Rob?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you, Charles. The first one, I think you can go either way on it. You could say it was a soft call. You can say, he shouldn't have had that level of contact so early in the game. I think it's here nor there. The second one's rough. I think Mikey needed to play a little bit more careful and he wasn't. He was still playing pretty physically, pretty aggressively. The only defense I really have of Mikey is things we've all talked about. The midfield has kind of been a little lost without him the last 2 games. I think he was trying to be a physical presence on the field to bolster everyone else on the Hearts. So I think that's why he felt like he had to be that physical. I think, like you said, though, he might be getting a reputation after last season. Did he lead the league in yellow cards? He was awful close. He was in the running.
He was top 5.
That's what I heard. Top 5.
Yeah. So, I mean, people are going to know that when he comes on the field, and they're going to be looking out for it. So I think he needs to be a little bit more careful this season than he was last season when it comes to going in the book.
Anybody on this pod think that he didn't deserve to be sent off? Sean?
No, the last card that he got, yellow card, you could argue that could have easily been a straight red where he stepped on a guy's ankle. So that offense alone is usually a straight red. So no, he deserved to get his walking papers. Hate to say it, but it was true. And I think Mikey he kind of understood where it all. He apology on Instagram saying I'm sorry for that, guys. That's on me. So I think he recognized probably a little.
Of course.
Little too physical there.
I wondering, just a little side note. I was kind of thinking about this. When he was walking off, I was like, overall, I think that our team has gotten more physical. I remember last year, but we're also winning more balls. I will give us that. We do lose the ball, but I remember last year. I think me and you, Charles, we had this conversation a couple months into the season where we were talking about we keep losing the ball. We're always the last to the ball, or we're never getting the second ball. Especially we're getting to the ball more, but I've also realized we're a lot more physical. So it's do we want to lose? We have Mikey, Barbosa, even Wada's getting pretty physical. JT got a yellow, and why he gets yellows, I will not understand. Unless he's breaking your toe or your ankle. If it is above the knee, I don't want to hear it. But it's now it seems like we are winning more balls, but it's coming at a cost of we're still getting a lot of fouls. And I'm I don't know, it's a weird balance. That's another thing I'm what line is too much physicality? I do like it, but it's it's not winning us games right now.
I think it's a nature of, we're not working the ball through the lines, at all. And I think we're having some heavy touches. I think we're inviting in a lot of physicality based on how we're playing. So I do agree with you. I think we have more physical players, certainly in the case of Barbosa, some of these new guys in defense. I don't disagree with you, but I think it might be a effect of our how we're losing the ball. There's a lot of 50-50s and a lot of it's pretty scrappy. And did you guys think we looked a little frustrated as far as how much of frustration do you think plays into Mikey's yellows? Because even Michelle, I saw him throwing his hands up after, passing a couple interceptions. Ollie, we know he's got that in him. A lot of frustrated gestures. I just hate to see it. I'm not mocking or trying to tear these guys down at all. I love our players, but I've noticed it.
I think a lot of it comes down to the way our last 2 opponents have played. Both AV Alta and Vermont played very fast. We aren't playing fast, so we have to slow the game down. I think the way that all of our players are thinking about how to do that is be physical, stop the guy running, make him fall to the ground, then get the ball. Maybe that's a good strategy. Maybe it's not. I think that's a conversation for debate, but I think that's the rationale behind it. And maybe why we've noticed it so much is just because our last 2 opponents have been fast on the ball.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I think Bobby Murphy's giving these guys good instructions and knows how he wants to play, and I think maybe the frustration is coming from it's not coming together yet, and I don't think anybody wants to be the guy that breaks down play or doesn't follow through on their responsibilities, and sometimes it happens as you gel, right? And the team's definitely going to gel much more than they are already. So it's probably our expectations out of whack slightly that we all didn't expect a slow start. And the thing is, it's not a slow start based on points. It's only 2 games in. The Vermont game's a cup game. We can touch on that. We talked about how that game we thought was a must win because what it does for the season, and we got to get over that. We got schooled. We got schooled in Vermont. But like what you said, Chaz, I don't know how many of these guys have seen temperatures like that, let alone played in them. It was ridiculously cold. And I know that both teams have to play in the same environment, but those boys, some of those Irish boys are much more used to that cold playing in Vermont than we were. I mean, there's a shot and it's like all 6 foot plus guys with red hair and freckles, and it's a riot. And they were all ballers in Vermont. They kicked our ass. Like it was impressive. That team was so organized. Not to switch games here, but I think they were more organized than probably most of the teams will play, especially in this first opening part of the season. So I know a lot of them have history together. Sean's got a great sheet of where these guys play, but they know each other certainly. And I just want to take credit to Vermont again, though, because I'm sure their fans really, really, really enjoyed that, and I'll be rooting for Vermont when they play Westchester next. It'll be interesting to see how far in the cup they can go. But yeah, Rob, they're quick. AV Alta was a quick team. Vermont was a very quick team. I do think we'll get quicker though, like as speed of play catches up with speed of thought, and then we're actually see us implementing a game plan out there. I think that will help us. But do you think we have a slow team? Do you guys agree with me that we'll be getting faster? I mean, we've got some guys who can move.
I didn't have that opinion against the Cosmos. Like
we had a slow team.
I didn't think we were slow against Cosmos. I thought we were playing Vermont, and I thought we were playing AV Alta. But like I said, I think it's because they were just fast.
I think one of the things that we're seeing, and when you got a lot of new players coming in, and half our team is new, actually over half our team is new. I think we got 12 or 13 returning players, and we got 26. So yeah, we're at the minimum 50% brand new players on the roster, right? Is if you're not used to how we're playing, and we saw a 4-2-3-1, we saw a 4-2-3-1, and we saw a 5-4-1. I'm going to call it 5-4-1. And you see different players on the field, right? They're getting to know each other, and when you are hesitant, you're going to look slow, right? Because I'm pretty sure I'm going, oh shit, I just opened up that lane. Friggin' guy just blew right by me. So again, give him some time. 4 points in the league. Yeah, we're out of the Open Cup. Got it. 4 points in the league, sitting third in the table. Only 2 games in. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine.
Does anybody want to go back? I think we take these over what do we have? 6 draws? What did we open with? 4, 5, 6 draws last season?
It was 4 before the home game. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is brutal.
I think it's the thing is I think with the team we have, again, there's a lot of these guys are they could fit in so many areas. Like we have a lot of schemes. That's the problem. Is like we almost are more like an American football team where we have packages. Like you put these sets of guys on and you can run a totally different formation or a totally different attack style. And it's like I just don't know because I think last year we had a set attack style kind of going down that left side or going down the right side when JT came on at the end of the game.
That's true.
Whereas like this, it's like I feel like we have so many cooks in the kitchen where like it's like we're trying out 3 or 4 different like game plans, and it's kind of just melding into like this like where are we going? Like are we going down the left? Are we running through Ollie? Are we running through our halfbacks? Like I don't know. I guess like I said, I think Bobby is right. I think come our home game, I think the home game is going to change a lot of things. I feel like that was when I think Ollie mentioned it. He's like, or it was either Mikey or Ollie or MPA last year when he was like, once we got to that first home game and, the crowd knocked our socks off, that kind of took a lot of weight off our shoulder. And then come the second game, because I remember the last game, our first home game was a draw, right? Naples, I believe.
Well, no, our first away game was against Naples. I don't remember who our first home game was.
Our first home game was Knoxville.
One knock. That was a draw.
Yeah, well, I went into a draw. And then the next kind of games we got together. So I like where it's going. I think once we figure out who fits in what formation, because I would hate to see with how much ability we have on this team that there are guys that are left off. Unfortunately, last year, like I could think of a couple guys. Evan Southern, we never really got to figure out what he's doing, yet he's doing great in Asheville now. There was a couple of those guys that were like, Jane Jones-Riley, unfortunately, was hurt. We know what he can do, but unfortunately, we didn't get to see what he could do last year, but we'll see. I don't know.
I feel like he's one of the players that has the potential to change a lot of this. how we're playing once we see Jaden Jones-Riley back. You know, to be fair too, Masashi Wada missed a little bit of a toe poke. Stretch. He almost put in the net. It went over the bar, but that goes in. You know, he gets a little bit better contact and he's able to keep it down. That goes in. We probably win that game with 10 men. So
Ollie had a decent start at goal too.
yeah, he had a good. Yeah, it was a very tame effort, but he had a good look at it. It's the best look he got all game early on.
Yep.
So what did we change to? We can move to a 4-4-1 essentially. Or excuse me. After we went one man down, what would the formation become, Sean?
It was more of like a 5-3-1. Is pretty much what it turned into.
Did we keep 5 at the back after we went a man down? Did we?
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe even like a 5-2-2. I remember because they put Emilio and Puck up there. Yeah.
Yep.
I was thinking we had 4 across the back, but that's my bad. What do you guys think about two things so far? Masashi seems to be playing a bit farther forward. Start with Rob because he hasn't said much, and then also JT kind of starting games as opposed to a super sub. I see a lot of those comments about, we want to see him come in and change games from the bench.
Yeah, I mean, I think Wada, last year we saw him kind of play behind a striker a lot more, and we saw him kind of make those critical plays or have the ball passed to him as, like I said, an option. Usually there would be multiple different people you could have passed to, and Wada was the one that usually had the best shot. I think right now, at least, the way we're playing, I don't know if he's getting the best service. Or what I've seen a lot of is instead of the ball getting passed to him, he's running with the ball into the box. And I don't know. He just doesn't seem to have a lot of support whenever he's doing that. So I don't want to say it's Wada's fault. I just don't know if the current tactical environment supports more players getting close enough to the goal to actually have a chance at it and giving Wada options like get an assist or having someone else carry the ball up and then cross it into Wada. I don't want to blame him for it, but I do think something needs to change to kind of get kind of that groove back in place that we saw last season that allowed him to be the producer that he was. JT starting, I brought this up a few times. I'm not always certain JT has the legs for sustained, 60-plus minutes on the field. I think he's a great super sub. I love seeing him come on for 30 minutes. Between Vermont and the performance last night, I just don't know if he is able to maintain that endurance going later and later in the game. And that's not to say JT is an amazing player. I think he's probably the best sub in the league. I just have some concerns about starting him.
Feel the same, Chaz?
Yeah, I think JT is he's the uppercut. Like you throw jabs and then you put JT in there when they're tired. Yeah, Wada. I don't think Wada is a forward. I think he is a striker. He's not a pure striker. I think he's a great center forward. I mean, maybe he is a forward. Maybe he wants to play forward, but I think he's better when he has options around him. And then if he doesn't like his options, take the shot. But I just don't know what's going on with our strikers. I don't know why. I'm again confused on what's going on up there. But yeah, JT's.
We don't have a lot of numbers getting forward. We haven't had a lot of cohesion moving forward into the final third, and certainly not a lot of numbers. New Jersey, it didn't seem as much of a problem. I think last 2 games it was more of a problem. I think Tinos was a lot of that in New Jersey. So he played in that spot where Kamara played last night. I don't know. I liked seeing him. I was kind of hoping we would start him last night because I liked what I saw in New Jersey. Yeah, I'm with you. Him. And I want to see him play George Elitis, right? Yeah. He scored our first goal, didn't he? That was his header, right? In New Jersey, right? Yeah, and that was impressive. I know. I'm right there with you. Let's talk a little bit about Cash. Had a hell of a performance. The broadcaster probably liked him a little too much, but those saves were really solid. And there was one save at the end. I was surprised he didn't get save of the match that on a cross that came in. And I don't know if he just deflected the cross right away because we don't get the best angles, and I don't even think they even showed the replay of it, or if it actually a striker got a touch to it. It looked like it was whipped in. The striker got a touch to it, and it didn't move the trajectory of the ball that much. So when Cash had it tracked, and he dove out and he got that ball away, it came out of the box fast. I thought that was really good goalkeeping. In addition to some of the stuff that looked like mostly was right at him, but he had really good hands. He had good positioning. The dude has a boot. I was like, let's just let Cash score the goal. He should be able to just one bounce that in, like a 90s Premier League goal on a windy day. The kid can hit the ball. But I thought he had a really good game. He's probably my man of the match for the Hearts. What do you think, Sean?
I thought Cash was, good on distribution. Your kicks that you talked about. He only had 3 saves. He had 3 saves. Only needed 3 saves for the match, and that just has to do with that great performance of that back 5. Again, I'm going to touch upon it now. Is 21 shots by AV Alta, 13 blocks,
3 on target.
Yeah, only 3 saves were needed, right?
Right.
And
right.
How many would have been challenging to Cash if his back 5 wasn't putting their body in front of that ball? And that's what I was trying to drive at earlier, that teamwork, that meshing together, working as a defense. It builds a team's confidence. And in my opinion, that's what Bobby Murphy is trying to do.
Am I being too harsh when I say, like I said, I love the blocks. I mean, but I don't think that many blocks should be needed. I don't think they should be getting that many shots. That's way too many shots to concede.
I think it's because we went down to 10 men.
Very fair. More than fair.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been that bad in the second half if we hadn't gotten out.
Sure. I would, I agree with that. But I also realized too, AV Alta and the teams that we have played, and again, it was an issue we had last year too, is all these teams like taking shots far out. I don't know what is our deal with not taking. AV was taking some, outside of the box or close near the box shots. I mean, it's not like they were like, they were sailing a lot of these shots, but they were at least putting the ball downrange, which I'm kind of like, I feel like we've missed that. That's one thing I feel like we've totally missed is I wish we did was we don't have anyone that takes outside the box shots. They were putting a lot of outside. So you're probably, yes, you are correct. Do we need that many blocks? No. But again, we were down 10 men and we were not moving the ball very well up forward, but just something I would hope that eventually we know MPA's got a boot. I would love to see more shots outside the box from MPA, but yes. Is it?
How many times though, I agree with you, but how many opportunities can you remember us getting into a position outside the box to take a shot? Like how many times was MPA there in a position where he could hit a shot? It doesn't seem very often so far, because we haven't been in those positions. We haven't had the ball attacking the final third with any options or men getting forward, in my opinion. Like I can't remember the last time I saw MPA or even Masashi towards the top of the box, maybe 22 yards out with runners on either side or the ability to beat a man and hit or just take a touch and hit a ball. We haven't been in those positions, I think, which obviously we want to be in. There's something happening. We got to find out what that is.
Yeah, so in terms of, shots and where they were taken in terms of AV Alta, out of the 21 shots that AV Alta took against us there, they had about 10 inside the box and 11 outside the box. So relatively 50-50 split on that 21 shot count they put against the Hearts of Pine. If you want to go ahead and reflect to the Heart side of things, we had 7 shots, 2 on target. Both were outside the box.
Right outside, yeah. Right
outside. One by JT Kamara and one by Ollie Wright. That good look that I mentioned earlier from Ollie Wright, that was actually on goal and had to have a save. Those were the only 2 we put on that.
Anything you guys want to talk about? Don't want to be overly negative. Like I really don't want to sound that way. We just like this. We all want to see this team, do really, really, really well. But yeah, point on the road. Anybody think that not happy with the point on the road? Because I actually am. All like the criticism and stuff aside, which is what we're here to do. Still happy with the point on the road.
I mean, I think we need to put that in context because if we win most of our home games this season and we win every other away game, we're gonna do just fine. We will be one of the best teams in the league. So I think that's something when we draw our other games like we did. we will do just fine.
I think we as fans have a lot of responsibility to give them a hell of a home opener. Sean alluded to it. Our new boys, they need to see what Fitzy's all about. I feel pressure, honestly, as a supporter, like to not let them down opening day so that they can, I think we've done a great job on the road. I think especially that was a huge showing in New Jersey. And that was fabulous. I'm really happy we won that game. And we had people still brave the weather. I feel really bad too for anybody who missed out on a ticket to Vermont because they were talking about 12,000 people apparently wanted it there. And guess what? I don't know if anybody noticed, but as somebody who was there was a lot of room left in those stands on both sides. But I mean, it was frigid. I'm sure people people decided not to go because it was so darn cold. But that does stink. That the weather kept people awake with a game that had so much demand. But no, we got to show those boys what Fitzy's all about when they come to town, and I know that we will. Anybody want to comment on us being more of a targeted team? I saw some people talking about that on social media. By fan clubs, just the breaking of hearts and all the artwork of knives through hearts, and we're happy to be that team, right? We're happy to have a target.
I'm good with it.
So it's basically, supporters need to understand, Heart supporters need to understand one thing. We are a targeted team this year. From the first year that we had last year, selling out every home game and the away support that we were starting to put together. And even the season that we had and going to a semifinal in our very first year in the league, never mind all the off the field stuff in terms of merch and coverage and all that sort of stuff. Believe me, we are a marked team. And don't be surprised if we see more TIFOs in the future for when we travel to away to other home support, that they've got a TIFO ready for the Hearts of Pine, much like AV Alta had a heartbreak. I think it was Shawn Michaels they had on the WWE wrestler. And it was going to be a heartbreak type of match. Well, we proved them wrong. We were resilient, and we got a point. So there was no heartbreaking going on. Splitting the points on the road, and like I said, kind of put it in perspective. Anytime that we're gonna go out on the road and play a brand new team and actually get 3 points on the road, and then we play nearly a playoff team last year and get a point at their place. With all the hoopla of they're going to go ahead and put it to us when we went out there and we took a point away from them anyways. We're in a good spot, guys.
Was that the pint of positivity? And maybe you want to talk a little bit about something very specific to the pint of positivity. I won't take that away from you, Sean.
Yeah, no, we're not quite ready for the pint of positivity. I might be foreshadowing just a little bit, but to your point, we are very proud to have a sponsor on board for the Friggin Soccer Show. So the first in the door, very, very popular station of myself, the June Cork Pub down on 66 3rd Street in Dover, New Hampshire, has come on board and sponsored the Friggin Soccer Show. So certainly thank John Bushnell and his crew down there in Dover, New Hampshire, serving some of the best Guinness pints you are going to find in the area. And thank you so much for believing in what we're doing here in the Friggin Soccer Show, and certainly look to do right for John and the June Cork Pub this year.
I know that we're going
to, my opinion.
Yeah, best Guinness. Do they also have Boddingtons? Is that something that you guys know? I've been trying to get a good Boddingtons for years because they used to have it in Damascotta, but I haven't found one.
No, not that I'm aware of.
I know they've had it. I know they've had it before. I wasn't sure if they had it currently, but I really hope that when we do get some merch, that we can have a co-branded like Friggin Soccer Show on one side and the Pint of Positivity, so that like some listeners could get glasses or something like that. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Already in the early talk of such a thing. John is he's got a guy, so we might have to break bread and have some early conversation.
Right off the Downeaster,
I like it.
It's away day.
There you go.
And it's right there. I'm sure a lot of our listeners have been there, and we know the DU. How many events did we have there last year? Just one, or was it? It was more than one, actually, wasn't it? With the DU?
I think we had like two or three events there last year, and any time that you can you're looking for a spot to go watch the Hearts, believe me. Other than maybe that late West Coast 10:30 start time. Other than maybe that, if the Hearts are on TV, they're on at the June Cork Pub.
Well, I think that about does it. I'll give everybody a chance to, and I'm just not for the show, but for the away game against AV Alta. Chaz, Rob, Sean, in that order. Anything left to say on that game? I think would be fun to touch upon some of the other games a little bit.
Barn burner.
I just had him on mute. When he started. When I heard finesse for the 30th time. We're talking about the commentator. I love his energy. I don't know who he is, but he's got a lot of energy and a lot of enthusiasm. But he does commentate like a baseball game in that style. But when he started calling the other keeper our keeper's name and then going back and forth kind of all over the place, and the finesse, if he said finessed it through one more time, or that was he intentionally deflected, I had to turn it off. If you made it through and you didn't mute my thoughts. I'm impressed. I'm impressed by you, but I don't know. The mute button has long become, and not just for him, for many things on broadcast, become my favorite button. Becoming my father. When I was a kid, he'd be muting stuff and swearing at the TV as he hit the mute button. I'm not there yet, but I do. My mute button is the most worn button. I'll say that on my remote. Did you guys, Chaz, you okay with this?
I mean, I guess my last thing is, I will say, for how bad we have looked, I gotta say, our games, we're coming out of this at we're not getting blown out of the water. Vermont only beat us. Vermont was a way better team, and we looked awful. That's probably the worst we've ever looked, and we only lost 1-0.
It's true.
So, and we always start, when you come to Portland, you start your season off hard. You start off a whole month, 5 games away. That's a crazy way to start your season. So, yeah, I think I'm happy where we're at. And also Cash what do we do with 2 good goalies? It's always a weird thing to think about. You have 2 good goalies on your roster, so are we just going to see Cash and Morris just flip flop throughout the season?
I thought it'd be the opposite. I was expecting to see Cash in Vermont and then see Hunter again in AV Alta, but we got the opposite. So I have no idea what that says, honestly. Yeah. You're right. We do have two solid keepers. They're very different, though. Very different style of goalkeepers. Yeah.
And also, where was the commentator's other guy? I think he needed another isn't there usually
You're
2 of them?
You're killing me. I don't know. No, it seems we had quite a few broadcasts with 1. I think they're better, at least when they have each other. But you're right, because there was another guy that people had an issue with. That was a younger sounding guy, and he was all by himself too in a couple broadcasts last season. But is that what these guys are, though? Are they just used to commentating on other sports? Is that where they come from? Is that why there's so much that's just that style of how else do you say it? It is like baseball commentary almost. It's just it's talking during the parts that probably deserve silence. And vice versa, not speaking in the other moments. It just feels like this is not their first sport.
Well, if you want a funny one, if you guys got time, watch El Farolito versus Sacramento's Open Cup game. Oh my gosh. There was at points they weren't even talking about soccer. They were just talking about how good their burritos were, and that time they just went on a date with the girl. They were just not even talking about the game for a good 15 minutes, and it was amazing. It was a great game to watch. So.
That game was pretty heated at the end. I saw the highlight. I saw the highlights at the end. Yeah. And there was some Eric Cantona type moments, right? Didn't they go after some guys in the crowd?
Yeah,
there were no flying kicks or anything like that, but yeah.
No, it was mostly
very
a lot
heated.
of just puffing chest. But to see 10 players go into the crowd is wow. There was a public statement. They didn't have to release a public statement, but hey, don't hate El Farolito. They are a great team. I'm not going to accept any negativity towards that team. 1993 Open Cup champions, by the way. So
I would suggest that maybe the league looks into that match a little bit and takes a look at some of the video. I think if they take a look at some of the video, they'll understand why El Farolito was going into the stands. Some very disrespectful acts were done by some of those fans. One in particular that I can think of is directly on camera, making monkey gestures at some of the players.
Oh God,
So
it was racial. It was
I would
racial stuff.
I would suggest they review and take direct action.
They'll have to, I would think. Well, I mean, nobody has to do anything, but no, if that's the case, it would expect the league to say something. I
Right
know
on
though.
camera.
There
Right
aren't
on
even
camera.
names stacked
That's
with
not
like,
a good look.
Yeah.
That
Laundry list is getting big.
was gonna
USL's
say-
list is getting massive.
Yeah, they have some topics here that aren't painting the leagues and the USL leagues in the best light. So, all right, we don't have to spend too much time there.
Yeah.
Do we need to talk more about Vermont? You know, we gave our response. Do we need to talk more about New Jersey since we only had our on-site responses, but now that we're all sitting here in the comfort of our own homes, anything you guys want to go over there a little bit, or are we good to move on to what's coming in the future? Go ahead, Chaz.
I guess the one thing I do want to say is how many teams do you know, Rob or Sean? There was 5 USL One League teams that were eliminated? Us, Vermont.
In the first round of the Open Cup.
there were a few. It was not just us. AV Alta was also eliminated.
Yeah, so I was like, Greenville, I think it was Ford Madison as well. So it is just kind of cool, not cool, but it is funny to see that, because I think they all lost to USL2 teams or amateur teams. So I was like, I think that's a weird temperature check to see like that our league, like, is our league getting worse or is the leagues up below us getting better? Or it's just a weird like mental exercise I was thinking about. I was like, why did we have 5 teams get eliminated all week 1? And they weren't all like, they were kind of some beatdowns too.
Right.
They weren't like slugfests. So I don't know, just something I thought about. Last thing.
So the one
It's the
thing that
league-
I want to, I just want to paint a quick picture for some of the supporters out there for the Vermont game, and just trying to give them a general idea of the people that are on the pitch and the quality of their play and what Vermont FC kind of puts out. So in the past 4 years that Vermont FC has been a thing, Vermont Green FC has been a thing. They've got about 12 people, 12 players that have been drafted to the MLS. 6 just in the most recent draft here in 2026. They've had 6 players drafted to the MLS. On that pitch that the Hearts were playing against, out of the 18 people they had in the squad, 10 of them have hoisted trophies in the past couple of years. 4 2025 USL 2 champions, 1 being a 24 USL 2 champion, 3 from the 2024 NCAA Vermont Catamount champions, right? And then 1 from a different college, 2025 NCAA national champions. We even had 1, a former USA U20 player, right? And every single person, playing or not, was a Division I athlete. So high caliber
They were the real
soccer
deal.
players.
No, they were the real deal.
They could do well in USL League One. They could finish in the playoff spots, in my opinion.
Scary to think what they could do with more time together, and more consistency as a unit. I guess that's what's tough to swallow is all the stuff that came outside, as well as them only having so many days, them being the age that they are. But no, they're the real deal. Like, and Sean, that helps. It helps put it in perspective.
Well, we can keep moving on. I've eaten enough crow about my comments about teams, so we can start moving along.
That's enough about Vermont.
Why can't we get some Vermont players? I think, or are they all moving past us? They've got their sights set on the MLS. Is what you're saying, Sean? Right? That's true. Yeah, he left. Messer, I know. Maybe he learned how to play on the left wing in Vermont. I don't know. Maybe not. Where are we going next, Sean? Let's talk a little bit about our upcoming game on the 28th. We're playing Sarasota?
Yeah. So I think switching gears into Sarasota. Basically, this is an expansion side that has made a pretty decent showing of themselves in the last match or two there that they've had. So I think it's going to be one of those deals where, and I know the Hearts and head coach Bobby Murphy always respects their opponent, and this will be no different. But it's going to be an interesting matchup, and certainly something that we're going to go look. And I think we have the ability to get 3 points, but we're going to want to make sure we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's, and making sure that we're not leaving ourselves open like we were talking about earlier. Still learning to play with each other. So what that will look like going into Sarasota and the formation and the players that head coach Bobby Murphy will select, I'm hoping he leans into the 4-2-3-1. I'm hoping that he chooses, if available, of course. We're only assuming that they're available. Center back Breck Evans and center back Mbake Faye. Put Hunter back in between the sticks, and have obviously we're going to be without Mikey Lopez. So I think probably instead of Mikey, we'll probably see Kid out there is kind of what I'm thinking. And hopefully we have our attacking front four with Ollie Wright, Titus Washington. I want Tino's out on the right wing myself, and of course Masashi doing his thing right dead center. That's what I'm hoping we see for a lineup going into Sarasota.
Anybody shout out for Tyler Huck? Short cameo that we saw him come on in like the 86th minute or 11 minutes, I think he got. Yeah, no, we were all excited. I think we're all excited about Tyler. What did you think about Tyler in his 11-minute professional debut, Chaz?
I think people. I don't know if his age does him justice. I think he's going to be really good. If we're not going to be playing, I think if we started him truly, like he could be, kind of the Varela JT combination. Having Emilio or having Huck for 60 minutes, the guy works hard. I mean, in those 11 minutes, he had like 2 tackles. He was, again, physical. He's fast. I mean, I don't know. Again, it's only 11 minutes, so what are you going to see? But the guy works hard. To have him, and he's a little lanky, sure. He can put some weight on, but I think if you put him at, up front, he's a good option. He can get up. He has good feet. Having him be there for like 60 minutes and then throwing like a Terzaghi in to replace him, I think would be to go from I got to go against this raw talent kind of guy to I'm now going against a 3-time player of the year kind of guy. I have to really lock in for the last 30 minutes of a game. I think those two as a combination team at 4 striker would be great. I don't know. I love the kid. I love him.
I'm with you. I actually thought he looked really good positionally. He was contesting a lot of headers, and there were a few that he didn't win, but his man didn't win either because he got positional advantage, right? And that didn't happen a lot actually in that area of the field until he came on. So I was trying to really pay attention to him because it was such a short cameo, and coming into that position, your team's down a man, you're trying to hold on, trying not to concede. Terzaghi was already on the pitch, right? So he had Terzaghi and Huck, So it was I don't think it was bad. Rob, do you have anything to say about Tyler? It was a short showing, but
it was a short showing. Yeah, it was a short showing. I really want to see some more. I hope that we see him maybe start in the USL Cup in a couple of weeks against Westchester, or coming on more consistently as a sub a little bit earlier in the game because I do want to see.
I hope he gets a chance. I hope he gets some minutes. Like he looks hungry, and I did. Like I said, I liked him even in that little bit of showing. I think there were strong positives already, and I hope that Bobby really likes him. I just really want to see this kid do really well for us. I think he's got a great story, and I know he seems like he's got goals in him, so I want to see that too. I'm gonna throw that out there. Tyler Huck. Yeah. I don't know if he'll start, but maybe he can come on in the 60th minute or something against Sarasota.
He's my golden goose. I called him out in November. If he doesn't get more than another 90 minutes, I'm gonna have to go become a Westchester fan. And I'm gonna have to.
That's not gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna cause you to become a Westchester fan. I do not believe it. That's an empty threat, my friend.
My reputation's gonna be in the shitter.
A Westchester fan.
No, I would like to see George Elitas play though. I'd like to see him play against Sarasota, and Man, we don't really know though. We just have no idea. I'd like to see Breck Evans play, that's for sure, or at
Yep.
least get an update on what's going on with him. Let's see. Sarasota, their last game was against Fort Wayne, right? That was actually four
2-2
goals in that game, 2-2 draw.
Yeah, 2-2 draw, and the thing that is starting to become very apparent is Sarasota's got a couple good wingers that you want to make sure we're keeping an eye on. So, some of the matches that we saw, we were having some issues with our wing play, so it can certainly test that out for us, right? So that certainly head coach Bobby Murphy and the boys are probably thinking about ways to battle that wing play and what they would like to do tactically, and player wise, who they select for their starting 11 on how they're going to go ahead and battle that. But keep an eye on number 17 and number 46 out on the wings for Sarasota Paradise. Those are going to be two players that we need to have answers for.
You said there's a chance to get 3 points, Sean. Not feeling that bullish about bringing 3 points home? You have a score prediction with the little that we know?
Well, I'll tell you what. We went down to the Cosmos and we got 3-1 on the Cosmos with playing in a 4-2-3-1 and playing a lot of the players that I would expect to see in a starting 11 for the Hearts of Pine. And if we have similar players, much like I spoke to when we got into the Sarasota side of things and what I would expect to see for a starting 11 and a formation for the Hearts, if we have those players available to us, I think we're going to have enough center back play and probably just enough of with MPA and I mentioned Kidd it'll be starting anyways. I think between our center backs and our back two and our midfield, we'll have enough to deal with those wingers. I think our wing backs, hopefully they'll start educating themselves a little bit more and help us out. That'd be a great time to see that. Would be when we're playing against two good wingers with Sarasota Paradise. I think Sarasota is good for 1. I think Hearts are good for 2. I say 2-1 Hearts.
Rob, you're on the spot. Good sir.
Yeah, I kind of agree on 2-1 Hearts. I think that they have. So last couple of games, they've made a lot of good number of chances. They had 3 big chances on average between their last 2 games. They've had 3.5 shots on goal per average their last 3 games. I think they're going to get a goal. I think if we're able to pull together, though, we're probably a little bit more. We're probably playing in a more gelled state than they are just because they just started playing. So I think that will help us out. Making more cohesive attacks, I hope. And that'll get us an extra goal.
2-1, you saying?
2-1. 2-1, yep.
2-2-1, Jazz. Third time's a charm, or you're usually good for a disruptive prediction.
I feel like we're going to definitely try to. I think Bobby's going to be like, hey, I think it's time we're going to really need to kick it up. We're going to definitely. I feel like we're going to be moving at Sarasota. Their playing surface seems to be kind of quick. I don't think they have really
Grass,
much
right?
of a Yeah, it's grass, but overall
Yep.
it looks good. It looks quality.
Yeah, no, it does.
But yeah, I'm gonna go 2-2. I think this is gonna be. I think I like their roster. Sarasota has a sneaky good roster. I think we're gonna have issues on the wing, but I think this is where Ollie gets it together. But unfortunately, it's probably going to be there's probably going to be a messy goal, 1 each, and then there's going to be one really nice goal. This probably will be the most entertaining of the games so far, at least. But, because we really love drawing in the beginning of the season, I'm feeling a 2-2 draw.
Point away from home. 3 points would be amazing, but I feel like a point again. I was going to go 1-1. But I think I'm going to go 1-0. I'm just going to, you guys, a lot more blocks. We've been making a lot more blocks. We'll probably be conceding too many shots, but we're going to block the hell out of this one. And we're going to find a way to get one. Wada's going to get a toe poke in there with some pinball in the box ball around in their box. And so I think we're going to come home 1-0, Chaz. Got 3 points.
I will say I'm curious to see who starts at goalie. I this was my other nightmare. The other night I had another one.
Stop having nightmares,
And,
dude. Stop. Happy,
and I was
happy
like,
thoughts.
I love me some Hunter. Tyler Huck's almost at my love for Hunter's level, but I'm not
Wow.
feeling good about a Hunter Morris clean sheet this year. I could
What?
see I don't know why, but that man just gives up some weird goals, and
Hmm.
I think he's a great goalie. Don't get me wrong.
Are you
I'm not saying
saying
he's a
you
bad
would put
goalie.
Cash in goal? Are you saying you would put Cash in goal?
I don't know, but I feel good about Cash. I think Hunter's going to get a lot of wins, but like I just like was looking back at some of his goals against, and like USL was throwing just like, oh, here's this highlight against the Hearts, and I'm like, man, great goalie, but I don't know. That's why I'm just saying I don't know if it's going to be 1-0 Hearts. I think Sarasota's with this roster at least they're going to get a goal if Hunter is in that. I'm trying to believe until I see it. I won't believe it.
Interesting. I think Hunter is so solid. I was gonna say the only thing that called into question him as a goalkeeper last year maybe was that one area of a free kick that he conceded maybe two in one game against Westchester, I believe. But there was another
Five. He had
it
five
he
free
conceded?
kicks.
Yeah, they were all from on his left on his
Top right
side. Top right corner, him facing the ball. So, but that's interesting. I hope Hunter. I want to see Hunter back in the goal. Anybody else
he's a flow
disagree?
state guy. He seems like a flow
I
state
think that's a really interesting take, Chaz. I don't know if I agree with any part of it.
No, I don't think so. No, I think you're out there on your own there.
Like I said, it was a nightmare. Hopefully it doesn't come true. It was just one of those crazy, like, I was in the shower and just dropped everything in the shower.
Well,
I think we have to. I think we got to chip in and buy Chaz a dream catcher. You got to hang above the bed or something, catch all the bad dreams.
You gotta some less screen time before you go to bed, dude.
I don't think you're allowed to sleep anymore, honestly, with dreams like that. I think you're just gonna have to stay up and do something. Because if I was having those dreams, I wouldn't go to bed, man. But I think to answer your question, I think Cash is obviously the backup. I think Hunter is the number one. I think we do have two good goalkeepers, and I think Cash will see more minutes. Well, I mean, being out of the cup, that really does change things. Although he didn't play in that Vermont game, so I don't know. I don't know either. But I think Hunter is our number one goalkeeper, and Cash is number two. But it's great to have two keepers. But I fully expect Hunter to be back between the sticks in Sarasota. But maybe you're right. Yeah.
No. I feel like Hunter's just one of those guys. It's like when you have you're like an all-time great goalie. There's just a lot of you're in all those highlight reels where it's like he's a great goalie, but then some guy like cuts up 4 or 5 dudes and then just puts it top in. And unfortunately, Hunter's the guy that's just in goal. So he's not a bad goalie. He's just
somebody's got to be there. Donald, who is part of the Friggin Soccer Show, co-chair of the Dirigo Union, he's going to be down in Sarasota. Do we have any sense of what the traveling support is going to be like? Doesn't seem like it's going to be a lot of people. Anybody here otherwise?
Well, certainly be a lot less than when we head down to the Cosmos. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, of course.
That's a kind of a fish in the barrel right there. But if I'm going to throw a dart, I'm going to say 30. I'm going to say about 30.
Yeah. What's their support usually like? I mean, well, I should say they're a new team, but like the first 2 games, I guess the first game that was at home, right, where they played Boise, they looked pretty well supported. Where they lost 1-0.
I think it's like 2,000. I think it's
my
like around.
in-laws just moved into the neighborhood. They tell me that it's kind of the talk of the town right now. A lot of people are starting to get into it.
I remember it looking pretty good on the broadcast. It was only 2,000, huh? It's a smaller stadium.
I think they're just small stands. I think they're kind of just small. It's like kind of spread around.
It's so hard to tell too on broadcast because very often the full side is the side the camera's on, so you're getting a look at the less attended side of the stadium. But yeah, if it was 2,000, then I guess I'm remembering correctly. But no, I mean I like their stadium. I like the grass. I like the grass for sure. I mean that's what I dream about. That we have a grass pitch with no football lines on it. Those are my dreams. Did we not get to the Pint of Positivity, Sean? You said that wasn't it. So
we haven't got there yet. Are we time to wrap it up?
I think so. I want to talk about that, and then maybe some scheduling changes. Highlight the new matches that came out from the Hearts, the update to the season.
That's right. Yeah, let's hit that real quick. We're talking about Sarasota here.
Yep.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
So on 8-5, we have a friendly against Connecticut United in Fitzpatrick, right? And
Yep.
On 7/26, a first leg of the Snowbird Derby against Sarasota Paradise at Fitzy. Who coined the Snowbird Derby?
It wasn't me.
It came from a Hearts and Pine email.
Yeah, that was a Kevin. That was a Kevin email right there.
Kevin watches this show, so don't send me the note. Send it to Chaz. His email is No, just kidding.
I'll hang it up.
So these are both what? These are both schedules adjustments based on the folding of
Tormenta.
Of Tormenta,
yeah.
right? So that's all this
is. Yeah, everybody in the league has got this challenge, and somehow, some way, I suppose Kevin Scholes could probably tell us best, but these two teams got together and said, "Hey, you know what? Why don't we just make a derby out of it? And we'll come up there, you come down here, and we each got a game filled on either side of the house, and that way we got half of our problems solved." Sure, sounds good. Let's do that. So, in order to do so, we did have to take the USL League One match that we were actually going to play against Sarasota. I think it was originally on the 26th of July. The real deal league game that we were going to play against Sarasota. We took that, we punted that to September. So September 26th is now the new date to play Sarasota for real at Fitzpatrick Stadium for 3 points in the USL League One standings. But yeah, we're going to have a little fun. We're going to call it a derby, and
Sure.
we're gonna do a 2-leg deal. And, we'll see how this whole accumulating goals thing does happen, don't happen. I don't know. We're going to have a little fun with it.
And did we mention, I think I just said 7/26 the first leg, but the return leg 7/29, is that right? So it's 3 days apart?
Yeah, 7/26, we're going to be playing up here at Fitzpatrick Stadium.
And then we're going straight down there.
Side of things. And then we're going straight down to Florida. Yep, for the 29th. You got it.
I do like that aspect of it. I think that's really fun. It's almost like the way the Europa League used to work, or the Champions League used to work, where you had, your home and your ways fairly close together. You go off the aggregate. So I think that's going to be a fairly exciting little break from the season.
Okay.
I will say, though, it is a little frustrating. This is a nightmare that Sean used to have when we were back at the Heart store. He would have these little notes where he'd be like, so in that gap, I think it's from like 7/18 to like 8/10. Within those like 18 days, there's 6 matches now.
Okay.
So I remember Sean would highlight last year, you highlighted like a gap of just a bunch, it's just total congestion. So there's now, so basically every 3 days there's a match.
Say that again, Chaz. 18 days, 6 matches.
Yes.
Is that accurate, or are those Chaz?
Let me. I put it in the group in the messenger, but I did. If you looked at it, when I saw it, I was like, wait a second, that
That's
can't
nasty.
be right.
That's nasty.
That is nasty. I hope that is incorrect for our players' sake.
Why am I even here, man? Why do you guys even?
It's actually 7 games. No,
It's for our players' sake, Chaz.
I mean, with a schedule like that, God forbid you have any injuries, which you will. We already do. That we're talking about players missing and that we don't know exactly what's going on. But man, that could be nasty. Well, Chaz, while you're looking that up, tell me a little bit about Connecticut United. I know it's an MLS Next Pro team. So
they're one of.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they're one of the independent MLS Next Pro teams. So as a lot of people know, MLS Next Pro is mostly reserve teams of MLS sides. Mm-hmm. I think this year now there are 3 independent clubs. So they are not affiliated with a senior MLS team. They operate a bit more like a USL team in that, a reserve team, you're going to see mostly guys in their low 20s or upper teens playing the game, developing so that way they can get to the first team. Whereas the independent squads, like I think one of them has a keeper who's like 40. Like you have much more age diversity in your players. Connecticut United, this is their first season in the league. They're playing out of Bridgeport, Connecticut. So I know there's been some stuff going on lately about their stadium. It hasn't been going great for them. They're trying to build, I forget how many seats, but it's a couple thousand down there on the waterfront in Bridgeport, and it hasn't really.
Is that the team that is basically barnstorming across Connecticut in terms of their home matches? They're just kind of getting different stadiums in different spots for their home matches.
I think so, because I thought I saw some complaints from the Hartford supporters because this team's come on the scene saying, "Oh, we're Connecticut United," and the Hartford supporters are all like, like we're Hartford's team, right? We are still in fact part of
we're still here, guys.
And we actually have our own stadium.
Nice stadium. Nice stadium.
Yeah,
it is.
So that's kind of their club story. I followed them on social media for a little while. They're an interesting club. I haven't watched them play since their season started. I'm kind of interested to see how an MLS Next Pro side matches up against a USL 1 side, because we've never seen that. And I think a lot of people, especially in the pundit world, like to compare the two leagues. But then when we hear players talk about them, like Ollie is one who talked about it on, I think, the Footwork podcast. He said that actually, like, people need to give more respect to MLS Next Pro. Like, it's actually, like, a really good league for players. Like, the level of competition is a lot higher than people think. So I think that'll be interesting, kind of see that head-to-head matchup between the USL and MLS Next Pro.
I'm looking forward to it for those reasons. Yeah, I don't know how much it says about the league with them, being a little bit different than all the other teams, not being an expansion side. Is that the right terminology? Not an expansion, but to be independent? What did you say, Rob?
Yeah, an MLS Next Pro team. Yeah.
Right. And you said there's only 3 of those, right?
I think it's only 3 this season. Yeah. They're trying to get more of these, but with ProRel being announced by the USL, I think a lot of people looking to start teams are kind of interested in that concept as opposed to MLS Next Pro, which, is just one league right now.
Yeah. Who knows where all this stuff's going to go. All right, Chaz, you've had ample time. What'd you find out on your stat you threw our way, schedule-wise?
All right. So from July 17th to August 8th, so that's 21 days, 22 days, we have 6 matches. We start in Boise, then we come home to Portland, then we have the first leg of that Sarasota thing, down to Sarasota, Greenville, and Portland. So yeah, it's from July 17th to August 8th is 6 matches. So
you weren't far off.
Yeah, a couple days off. But I mean, it's just a lot. I mean, I guess the travel's not bad because they have 5 days to go from Boise back home, and then we're home. But then we have to go down Florida, and then we go back up the coast. I don't know. It's just, I'm happy that we're doing it, but it just seems like a lot for that time. So I'm a little nervous about it. I mean, I'm happy it's happening. More games for us, the league, and maybe it builds into something more. But
it's probably too many games.
It's tough.
That's probably too many games, to be honest. And but yeah. All right, Sean. I've been waiting for this positivity. Give it to me.
All right, so our first Pint of Positivity, sponsored by the boys down at the June Cork Pub, again, 66 3rd Street. The Amtrak drops yourself off right there, one of the Dover stops. You get off the Dover stop, turn around, and turn 180 degrees and take a look. And when the train leaves the station, you're going to be staring right at the June Cork Pub. It's a great place to go watch soccer. You can also watch any other sporting event that they've got on TV. They got rugby. They're going to have the World Cup there this summer. They've got racing. They've got pretty much anything that you want to go ahead and put up sports-wise on a TV, golf, all that fun stuff. They've got it. But certainly I've been there. I don't know how many times. I was telling John, the owner of the June Cork Pub, I don't think I ever ordered the full English breakfast. And I went ahead and picked that box there the Saturday morning, and I got myself the full English. And definitely a tasty treat, and certainly something I'll be repeating in the future. So, British style pub, great place to go, good environment, and again, anytime the Hearts are playing, and you're looking for a place to go watch the match amongst fellow like-minded soccer supporters, definitely pick up the June Cork Pub. But
And tell them the Friggin' Soccer Show sent you.
that's right. Absolutely.
And,
Tell them the Friggin' Soccer Show sent you.
Tell them you want some friggin' Scotch eggs. I want to get that put on the menu. The friggin'. If I could support, if I could sponsor any dish that they have down there. I'm a big fan of Scotch eggs. So
Yeah, I
have one of those.
second that
Get
one.
two of those. Get two of those with your Guinness.
That's right. Get yourself a nice tall Guinness and order yourself some Scotch eggs, and it fixes
Pretty.
you right up. But your plan of positivity for tonight is basically, in my opinion, we're actually starting to see the Hearts, very beginning stages now. Head coach Bobby Murphy mentioned 6 weeks. He gave me 6 weeks. To my estimation and to my calculation, that brings us to the end of April. So the Hearts are starting to learn little by little with our new players what this defending thing looks like as a group, and really starting to build up the very early stages of gelling as a team on the back line. And I think, in my opinion, head coach Bobby Murphy is trying to solidify that back line first and foremost. The very same back line that he mentioned in the offseason was his number one goal, to retool. And that is what we're starting to see is the defense starting to come together. I think we will continue to see that through the early parts of April. And then we'll start to see that more attacking role as we get more towards May from the Hearts of Pine. So your plan of positivity is 2 away matches, 4 points. We'll take that every single time. And we are seeing the very beginning stages of this Hearts defense starting to come together.
I like it. I like it a lot.
My empty pint.
That's not positive. You're going to have to keep more. Keep that thing full for that segment.
I need 3 beers next time, not 2 beers.
I don't know. The way you poured that first one was magical. I just saw it kind of bubbling in the corner of the screen there. I was like, oh, look at him blessing that chalice. That was magical.
Should the pint get its own camera? We can just cut to it every once in a while.
We'll have a 5th camera.
Yeah, have a 5th camera. It's just a static shot. We can we'll do one of those interviews, but yeah, well, thank you guys, everybody, for listening to the Friggin' Soccer Show. The first time we've done this from home. And we'll use this when we need to do it, like when the weather kicks up like today. There'll be a lot less of that as we move into the warmer parts of the year. But thank you for tuning in. Also, a good chance to shout out to Bell Studio by the Knack Factory. That is the official studio partner of the Friggin' Soccer Show, and we will be back in the studio as soon as we can be. It may not be next week, so if it's not next week, then we'll do another show like this. But it is worth noting, I'm not sure if we confirmed on the podcast before, but we are going to be in the studio doing the post-match pulse, what traditionally was the post-match pulse, which is a reaction show to our home games. So this team and some other guys as well are going to pop over from Fitzpatrick Stadium afterwards and give a reaction in the studio. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're all really looking forward to that, to being in the same space. And it's probably going to be emotional shows. Like, I can't wait to be ticked off or really elated. I'd prefer to be elated with a last minute winner or something like that. But, we'll have both, all those reactions in the studio after home matches at Fitzy this season from Bell Studio. So really excited about that. And the home opener is not too far away. So, and as you said, Sean, hopefully by the end of April, we're just absolutely, we're cruising along, meshing and playing Bobby Murphy ball. So please like and subscribe if you don't mind. Appreciate all the support up to this point. It's been awesome to start a new Instagram channel, and everybody knows the challenges that come with starting a new channel. So we really appreciate it. And as we get more followers, and YouTube is our goal for season 1 was 500, and we're past 500, and we're in season 2, obviously, and things are going really well. So if you like the show, we really do appreciate the support. And we will see you guys next time. Up the friggin' Hearts.
Up the friggin' Hearts.